Kelton is a small hamlet or village. It lies on the River Nith, not far from Capel. It's been mentioned since at least the 1600s. The name has varied between Kelton and Calton, and its origins may come from the name chapel or small church. The original settlement was a small hamlet lying slightly to the north of today's main village. At one time it had its own tavern. There was an excise station or post here, a small boatyard which produced coastal vessels, and also later on there was a school and a schoolhouse. In the 1840s, the Ordnance Survey, the map makers, described it as being a squalid hamlet. Going into further detail, a wretched and dilapidated state, and as a village and port must soon be numbered amongst those things that were. The presence of an excise station emphasised that it used to be a small harbour here. Never seems to have had a stone-built quay or anything of that sort, but there are marked on the map, and a few still survive, which is the mooring bollards. The ones that survive are made from old cannons. The cannons were manufactured up near Dumfries, and those that were in faulty castings were not sent to the Crimea, but instead were used as bollards. In 1879, a small school was built here. Its construction seems to coincide with the construction of a country house at what was a small farm just across the other side of the road. The owner was highly eccentric, and he also had an aviary just at the end of the lane here. Kelton has a part to play in the life of Robert Burns. He may have visited the excise office here. Certainly the port has a part to play in the story of the Rosamond. This was a smuggler's ship that was found by Robert Burns and his colleagues. They tried to use boats to go out to it, but the locals spiked them so they leaked. Instead they had to walk out in the deep water. Eventually the smugglers gave up, headed for the English coast, and left the Rosamond where she was. The smugglers had fired cannonballs through the bottom of the boat. It was in shallow water and could be rescued. The excise paid for 4 sailors and 2 carpenters, spent a number of days repairing the ship. It was then sailed up to Kelton, where it was berthed. The smuggled goods were removed, such as the brandy and the wines. These were sold, as was the ship itself. A portion of the sale price went to the excise officers. Robert Burns would have been one. There's a strange story that states that he purchased the cannon from the Rosamond, had them sent down to Dover with the intention of giving them to assist the French Republicans, who were at times fighting the monarchists in the French Revolution. Half netting is a specialised method of catching salmon. It was brought over by the Vikings over 1,000 years ago. It's still in use at Kelton, and you will see the half nets lying in storage on the estuary shore. Half net fishing used to be carried out elsewhere in the British Isles, but is now confined to the Solway Firth and its tributaries. The fishermen walk into the water up to their chest, holding the net vertical in front of them within the water itself. They can see the fish swimming into the net, and then by a flicking motion would capture them. Where the main village is now, at one time there were 2 sawmills. The first one was established around about the 1840s. It seems likely that the timber was floated down the river and then hauled up onto the bank. There were saw pits here. There was also a smithy. Later on, a second, smaller sawmill was established. Both of these seem to have finished their operations in the 1890s. There were at least 5 of the cannon used as the mooring bollards or posts. Examples can still be seen at Lag Hall Quay for that river, and also at Kingholm Quay. It's not recorded when the excise office ceased to be used. It may have also covered the Glen Capel Quay that lies nearby, just downstream. The Nith is very wide here, and you can see from the flotsam and jetsam washed up, there's little danger of flooding within the village itself. A formal path runs up beside the River Nith. One of the sad sights is a memorial to Queen Victoria's piper, Angus Mackay. He's well known in piping circles. He became a patient at the nearby Dumfries Crichton Institute, which was an institute for mental health. He managed to escape, and he was found near here, drowned.